Before we get into today's breakdown, let me quickly set the stage for what you're about to watch. In the video clips you're about to see, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos lays out Netflix's position in one of the most consequential media deal battles we've seen in years. He addresses why Netflix is giving Paramount-Skydance a short window to negotiate with Warner Brothers, why he believes Paramount has been flooding the zone with noise and confusion, and how Netflix is thinking about value, discipline, and shareholder certainty at a time when its own stock has been under pressure. The comments are measured, but beneath the calm tone is a very aggressive strategic stance that has huge implications for Warner Brothers shareholders, Netflix investors, and the entire entertainment industry. After you watch the clips in a moment, I'm going to come back and give you my in-depth analysis of what was really said, what wasn't said, and why this interview matters far more than most people realize. If you get value from this video, like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the next important analysis update. Now, let's watch the video.
Why does it make sense to give your competitor, Paramount-Skydance, a week to negotiate with Warner Brothers if you already have a deal with them?
Well, best if we start with where we're at, which is we have the only signed deal with Warner Brothers to acquire Warner Brothers Studios and Warner Brothers Television Studios and HBO. That is a signed deal that we have. P-Sky, Paramount had been making a ton of noise, flooding the zone with confusion for shareholders, so they don't really understand the deal, and including floating all these hypothetical offers into and talking directly to the shareholders and bypassing the Warner Brothers Discovery Board. So we gave them the opportunity to get those shareholders exactly what they deserve, which is complete clarity and certainty about what the value of these deals are. And what we're certain is that the Netflix deal to acquire these assets is the best deal, generates the best value for their shareholders, and they think so too. That's why they recommended the deal and why they reiterated recommending that deal post this. So give them 7 days to put their money where their mouth is.
So part of all the disclosures and press releases and proxies filed this morning was also the news that a representative of Paramount-Skydance had offered $31 per share, a dollar more than Paramount-Skydance had previously offered for all of Warner Brothers. You have the right to match any higher bid. How much more are you willing to pay?
Well, that's not something you typically do with a phone call. And I don't want to get into the hypotheticals of what we do, of all these moves. Let them make a move, and then we'll see where the next step takes us.
Given that Netflix's stock price has dropped so much since you closed this deal in December, Mike just mentioned a 25% drop, are you concerned that investors will sell off more if you end up offering more to get this deal done?
There's things you should remember about us. We've been doing this for a long time. We have been incredibly disciplined buyers in our normal course of business, meaning we're pretty good at establishing what is the value for entertainment assets, audience relative to cost, all of those things, and remaining very disciplined in the process of doing that. So this shouldn't be any different than that. But again, as I said, when we came up with the offer on this asset, this is a deal we think that brings an enormous value to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. But even as importantly is continuing to grow the entertainment business. The outcome of this deal is going to be very relevant to a lot of players, meaning that if in our deal we continue to operate Warner Brothers film and television studios pretty much like they're running today, we continue to run HBO largely as it operates today. We continue to invest in growth in those organizations. We have a very healthy balance sheet and a very strong business with or without this deal to keep pushing forward at this. So to me, our goal here is to make sure that folks know, take the 7 days to figure out exactly where they stand, and then on March 20th there is a vote, and they'll make the decision. And we're confident that the Warner Brothers Discovery Board, which continues to endorse this deal, and the shareholders will come to the same conclusion that this is the best value for Warner Brothers Discovery.
All right, now that you've watched the clip, let's slow this down and really unpack what just happened here. Because on the surface, this sounds like a pretty standard executive interview. Calm answers, polite phrasing, lots of corporate language. But if you read between the lines, this is a power struggle playing out in real time, and Ted Sarandos is very deliberately signaling where Netflix stands and how confident they are in their position. The first thing that immediately jumps out to me is how Sarandos frames the entire situation right from the beginning. He doesn't start by acknowledging Paramount or Skydance as equal players. He starts by anchoring the conversation around one core fact. Netflix has the only signed deal. That's not accidental. in negotiations, anchoring matters, and Sarandos is anchoring the audience, the shareholders, and frankly the market around the idea that Netflix is the default outcome unless something extraordinary happens. When he says, "We have the only signed deal with Warner Brothers to acquire Warner Brothers Studios and Warner Brothers Television Studios and HBO," he's doing more than stating a fact. He's establishing legitimacy. He's saying implicitly that everyone else is reacting to Netflix, not the other way around. That sets the tone for everything that follows. Then comes the phrase that has been getting all the headlines, flooding the zone with confusion. This is a very specific choice of words, and in my opinion it's one of the most revealing parts of the entire interview. Sarandos is accusing Paramount-Skydance of creating noise, not value. He's saying they're talking to shareholders directly, floating hypothetical offers, bypassing the board, and muddying the waters. Now, from a strategic standpoint, this is fascinating. In M&A battles, confusion can actually be a weapon. If you can create enough uncertainty, you can slow down a deal, pressure the board, and potentially force renegotiation. Sarandos clearly sees that happening here, and instead of panicking or escalating emotionally, he does something very calculated. He calls it out publicly and reframes it as a negative for shareholders. He keeps coming back to two words over and over again: clarity and certainty. That's not random. Shareholders, especially institutional shareholders, hate uncertainty. They can live with a lower but certain outcome more easily than a higher but speculative one. By positioning Netflix as the source of certainty and Paramount as the source of noise, Sarandos is effectively appealing directly to the risk management instincts of Warner Brothers shareholders. And here's where I want to inject my own opinion for a moment. I actually think this is one of the smartest tactical moves Netflix could make. Instead of getting into a bidding war narrative, they're reframing the conversation as discipline versus chaos. That's a much stronger position when your stock has already taken a hit, because it reassures your own investors that you're not going to do something reckless just to win headlines. When Sarandos says they gave Paramount-Skydance 7 days to put their money where their mouth is, that's a challenge, but it's also a trap. 7 days is not a lot of time to line up financing, formalize terms, and provide real certainty. If Paramount fails to do that, Netflix looks vindicated. If Paramount succeeds, Netflix still benefits because now the hypothetical becomes real, and Netflix can decide whether matching it makes sense. Notice what Sarandos does not do here. He does not say Netflix will definitely match any higher bid. He doesn't say they're willing to overpay. He keeps repeating that they are disciplined buyers. That repetition matters. He's speaking not just to Warner Brothers shareholders, but to Netflix shareholders who might be nervous after seeing the stock down roughly 25% since the deal was announced. And this is where the interviewer's question about the stock drop is crucial. The interviewer directly challenges him. Are you worried that investors will sell off more if you have to pay more? This is the moment where a less confident executive might hedge, deflect, or over-explain. Sarandos does none of that. Instead, he leans into Netflix's history. He says essentially, we've been doing this for a long time, and we're good at it. We know how to value entertainment assets. We know how to measure audience relative to cost. And we don't abandon discipline just because there's competition. From my perspective, this is Netflix reminding the market of its core strength: data-driven decision-making. Traditional media companies often rely on legacy thinking, prestige assets, and strategic narratives. Netflix, at least historically, has relied on metrics, engagement, and return on content spend. Sarandos is telling you that this deal, no matter how large or emotional it might seem, is being evaluated through that same lens. Now let's talk about the broader implications of this, because this isn't just about who owns Warner Brothers assets. This is about the future structure of the entertainment business. Sarandos makes a very important point when he says that under Netflix's deal, Warner Brothers Film and Television Studios would continue to operate pretty much as they do today. HBO would continue to operate largely as it does today. Investment would continue. That's a reassurance not just to shareholders but to creatives, executives, and employees inside those organizations. In my opinion, that's an underrated part of this whole conversation. Deals fail not just because of price, but because of fear. Fear of layoffs, fear of brand dilution, fear of cultural collapse. By emphasizing continuity, Netflix is positioning itself as a steward, not a dismantler. At the same time, let's not kid ourselves. Netflix is not doing this out of charity. They see enormous strategic value in controlling premium IP, production infrastructure, and a brand like HBO. This is about scale, leverage, and long-term dominance in a world where content costs keep rising and competition keeps fragmenting audiences. And here's where I think the Paramount angle becomes even more interesting. Paramount-Skydance floating a $31 per share offer, a dollar higher than before, sounds impressive on the surface, but Sarandos' response is telling. He refuses to engage in hypotheticals. He doesn't acknowledge the number as meaningful. He says, let them make a move and then we'll see. That's not arrogance. That's control. By refusing to negotiate in public or over the phone, Netflix is keeping the process formal, grounded, and slow. Speed favors the aggressor. Structure favors the incumbent deal. Netflix is the incumbent here. As we approach the March 20th vote that Sarandos references, everything comes down to one question. What do shareholders value more right now, upside or certainty? In a volatile market, with media stocks under pressure and streaming economics still evolving, my personal view is that certainty has a lot of appeal. That doesn't mean Netflix automatically wins. It does mean that Paramount has a much higher bar to clear than just offering a slightly higher price. They need to offer clarity, financing certainty, governance stability, and a credible long-term plan. Noise alone won't get it done. We're going to pause here, because there's still a lot more to unpack. The strategic psychology of the 7-day window, the implications for Netflix's balance sheet, what this means for future consolidation in media, and how this could reshape content economics over the next decade. In the next part, I'm going to dig deeper into why this deal matters far beyond Warner Brothers, how Netflix is redefining what discipline looks like in modern media M&A, and why I think this moment could mark a turning point for the entire industry. If you enjoyed this breakdown so far, like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss part 2 of this analysis. I'll see you there.